Hi, Mr. Maltzman.
We're back.
We are back.
What are we learning today, Jordan?
We're going to learn about types of data in Python. Fancy stuff.
So cool.
I think we are ready to begin.
Let's begin.
Today we're going to make our very first Python program. And it's going to be a simple program, but we'll expand on it as we keep going. Follow my typing. Print, like the word, space, and in quotes, hello world, or something of that. You can change the words if you want. I always change Mr. Maltzman's coding when I was in programming.
That's right.
Here in the result tab, we see our answer, hello world. Print is a command in Python, and it's in purple, so we know that. Print tells the computer to put on the screen, to print it out, whatever you tell it to after the word. Hello world is a phrase, and the computer knows that because we put it in quotes. So it makes it red in our editor. But the computer doesn't exactly see hello world as hello and world, two words, because it's not smart enough to speak English. We wish it did. Hey Siri, Mr. Maltzman's phone goes off.
That's right.
It sees hello world as a series of characters. Print.
Oh, I see. So, Jordan, what you're doing is you are combining a bunch of strings, a bunch of characters, and it's going to print them all. I noticed that you switched from single quotes. You're inconsistent. You've got double quotes around the H and the E.
That's right, and I shouldn't be. Generally in Python, you'll want to use double quotes because it's the preferred quotation method. But Python lets you switch between double and single quotes as long as you don't start with double quotes around a phrase and end with single quotes or vice versa.
Okay.
And single quotes in many programming languages are only for single characters, single letters, or numbers. So you'll generally want to stick with double quotes.
Okay. So imagine that Jordan was doing this all in double quotes.
Although
it'll still work.
It's easier this way.
Because
I don't have to do shift.
Okay.
I'm lazy, as many programmers are. So if we run this, we should see our normal hello world and hello world as a series of added characters, and we'll get the same result. Now, why is that? Well, Python, again, doesn't speak English, and it sees phrases, strings, as a series of characters. So when we add these single letters together, we get the same result.
So I'm going to try something else here, which also should work, because I've got two strings, and each string is surrounded by quotes. I didn't do it letter by letter, but I have string 1 is hello and string 2 is world. And so now we should get 3 hello worlds. Oops, check it out. Why does mine not work and yours did? What did I do wrong?
Well, Python is adding those series of characters, and it doesn't see a space character to add in the middle.
Oh, okay.
This is a problem that developers run into all the time. So the best bet that you should do is to add a space in quotes, or to add it at the end of hello or the beginning of world.
Cool. So now this will work? This is going to work? Promise?
It should.
Nailed it! Okay, what's next?
3 hello worlds. We're doing great. Now let's try with numbers. Print 1 in quotes plus 2 in quotes. What should we get?
Well, 3, right? 1 plus 2 is 3. Everyone knows that.
But not in Python.
Rats.
The same issue. Because we're adding 1 the word and 2 those characters, it just comes out as 1, 2.
So it doesn't know that they're numbers. It has no idea that those are numbers. Just thinks of them as words.
Python won't. Sorry, Freudian slip there. Python also won't add numbers in quotes and get 3 because it still sees those as characters. Or like this. But what if we try taking those numbers out of quotes? And you should be following along in your console if you can.
Oh, I noticed something here, Jordan, is that the 1 and the 2 in line 7 are blue. They're no longer red.
And that's because they're not strings. They're not letters and numbers in quotes. They're numbers, and numbers are their own language. They're not English, and they're not exactly what computers understand. They're math, and they're their own language.
Okay, so you should go ahead and experiment with some basic math. Like, what happens if you say print 34 plus 50? I'm pretty sure that's 200. I don't teach math, but let's see if I'm right. Oh, whoops, it's 84. Okay, so it does basic math things as well. Are there any other math
Python
functions?
can do some really smart math,
Let's see.
like this. We can do subtraction, 1 minus 2. You don't have to put spaces between operators, the plus minus division, but it's clean, and most programmers do it when they're trying to stay neat.
In fact, most programming languages just ignore spaces completely. You put in the spaces for the reader of the program, the human who's actually writing it, but the program, the computer itself typically ignores spaces.
Although Python is a semi-white space sensitive language.
Okay.
We can multiply 1 and an asterisk, shift 8 for multiplication. 1 times 2 is 2. And we can divide 1 divided by 2.
You know, the reason why they have that line is the dividing sign. Let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. But while we're running it, oh, you did already. It's 0.5.
Yeah.
The reason why that line is there is it's basically just like fractions. So that line shows
1
you
over
that
2.
yeah, there's a numerator and a denominator. Remember, it's actually useful, the stuff you learned in math. Okay. Let's keep going.
You should keep, and you can experiment if you want to pause our video and experiment with some of your own math when you submit this code. Try to keep up.
What happens? Oh, I've got a super hard question. What happens if you try to add the word 1 in quotes plus like a number, like 7? Oh, can you use double quotes?
Sorry about
Thank
that.
you.
That was an accident by me. And that's where I was getting to just now. That's going to give us an error. A type error is Python has all sorts of errors, and it sort of tells you, puts them in categories. Cannot concatenate, put together or add, string and integer objects, that's how they're abbreviated, on line 12 in our file.
And actually, this is an important point to point out, which is this is our first bug in our programming. And here's what happens. When you try to run something that has an error, Python will stop, and it will highlight where the error is. You can notice that line 12 is highlighted in pink.
And when we're using different documents, which we're not going to get to, but up here we have an error, and this is sort of flashing around here.
Yeah, so it's telling us that the error is in the main program, because some programs use other files as well. It's in the main program, and it's on line 12. And we cannot add together a string and an integer object. So let's go ahead and fix that.
Okay. So we have a number of options from here. We can change what we're doing, and we can just make 1 plus 2 like we did before. So we don't face that error at all, which is probably the best way. And we can also, when we're using, for example, 1 plus 2, Python allows us to change strings into integers and integers into strings and such, but we won't go into that.
Wait, can you put that right back, and then delete line 12 entirely. And let's see if line 12 now works.
We'll get the same error.
Oh, it's same error, because it still thinks the 1 in quotes is a string. It doesn't think that it's a number.
However, Python does allow a little get around for us. If we put a comma between these two instead of a plus, we're not adding them, we're not concatenating, squishing together. We're simply putting them side by side. That's called interpolation, and it works really well. Python will automatically put spaces between them. So in our print hello plus world, where we get them smushed together, we can interpolate them, put a comma.
So it means print the first thing, then print the next
That's
thing
right.
on the same line.
And we can do that with, lots of different things.
What if you wanted to print, like, I don't know, a whole set of things on multiple lines? Is there anything to do that you can do with that?
Well, again, programmers are lazy, and they like everything easy for them.
Well,
so
first show the basic way you would do it, like to print, let's say, 3 lines.
That's right. So the basic way, the beginner way to do this would be to say, say we're going to say hello and then a new line in, world and then an apostrophe. Hello, print world, and print an exclamation point.
Oh, I see. So it printed each of those on a different line because you have 3 different print commands.
That's right. But programmers are lazy, and they like things to be easy for them to see and to plan. With 3 quotes, double or single, it doesn't matter, but let's stick with double, in a row, our string will continue over 3 lines. And we close that with 3 quotes again. Always make sure that you're closing your quotes.
You know what I like to do on something like this, Jordan? I like to format it slightly differently. I like to say print hello, and then I put hello world, and then I put this on a separate line. So I really show exactly what I want to have printed on the 3 lines. I think that'll work.
That's useful too.
Hello world. Okay, good. Or I can print snowflake is better looking than your dog. Okay, let's see what happens if I do that. Snowy snowflake is better looking than your dog. Okay, cool. Let's check how much time we have left on our recording, because each recording can only be 15 minutes.
We might be already out. Nope, we're still good.
Okay, got 3 more minutes basically. I'll time this. All right.
So now let's try doing something exciting.
Oh, exciting! This
Yes.
is gonna be exciting.
Oh, it's going to be very exciting.
Okay.
Let's try making some art with text. This is called ASCII art, and before computers had fancy graphics and they were only text in consoles, people loved to do this. And we can look up ASCII art on the internet and find all sorts of amazing images made out of text.
Oh my gosh, really? Those are just a bunch of series of dots? That is so cool.
Try not to copy, and we'll be able to tell if you copy. Make your own ASCII art in Python. Like this. And you can be experimenting with your own as I'm showing this. Heck. Oh. Heck. We're out of time.
In fact, let's go ahead and stop here and then we'll continue in the next video, okay?
Sounds
Because we're
good.
actually out of time. So let's go to the video that we're over here
Okay.
and stop it.